Two Johannesburg, South Africa-based consultants, Rowayda, Halim and Dr. Zubeda Dangor, underwent the Trend Organisational Development Training, a course in Systemic Organisational Development, SOD. This is the story of their training and its impact on a small Johannesburg-based upholstery company, Alvi Designs. The Trend Organisational Development Training was facilitated by Ben Arikpo of Akada Consults based in Nigeria and German-based Dr. Marion Kyle of Synex. The SOD approach is designed to encourage participants to take active responsibility for their own learning by drawing on lessons from their own experiences, which act as building blocks for new learning. Key features are learning through practice, managing consultancies during the course, keeping a learning diary, learning through peer group assessment, receiving feedback on personal effectiveness, conducting a case study, and working towards certification. The course consists of 4 modules scheduled in different countries on the African continent, giving participants experience of different cultures. Participants are required to put their learning into practice within the context of these cultures.
I think the reason for this course being held in different countries on the African continent is exactly that, to give you a feel of differences and similarities and how you can combine those and we're working with a diverse group of people without any conflict.
Module 1 focused on systemic organisational development and transformation. This module was conducted in Lagos, Nigeria in March 2005. The module covered the Systemic Organisational Development or SOD approach, the experiential approach, and the action learning cycle. Other aspects included consultancy practice, the organisational development cycle, organisations as systems, and team building.
Well, at the practical level, we also looked at different consulting styles and drew comparisons between the traditional and systemic approach. An example of a comparison is that with the traditional approach, you focus on problem solving, whereas with the systemic approach, there's an focuses on the ongoing ability for the organizations to renew itself. We were also introduced to the professional organizational development and transformation practice. It's included understanding the theory and the practice of the systemic approach, and an introduction to the systemic thinking and interventions as a major paradigm. Also, the understanding of the role of the consultant, the skills and abilities provided us with important learning.
Module 2 covered entering organizations and structuring organizational transformation interventions. It took place in Nairobi, Kenya.
I think the most exciting phase of Module 2 was really developing assumptions or learning to develop assumptions. It was a process of developing circular questioning, which is not very easy. And at the same time, that's linked to the context of the client you're working with. And you develop these assumptions from all the information that we collected, which is observation, which is material that we've read, the desktop studies that we did about the organization, as well as interviews that we conducted. But those assumptions that we develop are not truths. They really are perceptions. And I think the strength of assumptions is that it's really a handy way of viewing an organization without apportioning any blame or without trying to prove any truths. And it focuses much more on the present, not on the present and on the future. It doesn't allow you to get stuck in the past.
Module 3 looked at organizational culture, diversity, and transformation management. This module took place in Cape Town, South Africa in October 2005. Participants had to identify particular business organizations in the area where the training took place. 2 South African banks, ABSA and First National Bank, were chosen.
In this module, we had the opportunity to look at the different elements of culture in the 2 organizations that we visited, and to draw comparisons between, the different corporate cultures. This ranged from symbols that they use in their foyers, to pictures and awards displayed, company logo, the credo, and also the dress code of the two companies. Also the frontline approach of the staff, communication, and sort of customs around, how you conduct yourself in the area. I think we also got a glimpse of the styles of leadership, in fact, in the organizations.
The final module took place in April 2006 on Gorée Island, Senegal. The module focused on integration of organizational transformation, management processes, and leading change. This module looked at effective leadership in change and transition, integration of topics, systemic organizational development in West Africa, professional systemic organization development, role and competencies, self-marketing, and final case study. At the end, participants did a self-assessment and analyzed their own learning. They had a final external assessment and evaluation.
Basically, in Module 4, it was a culmination of theory and practice. Things were coming together in a very tight way. And so I think in the previous modules, you couldn't really see this because there were bits of things happening all over the place. And suddenly you started getting, this whole picture gelling. So you started having an idea of theory and practice in the systemic organizational development model. And the focus on process became much clearer because this is a model which really focuses on process rather than content. And that became much clearer by the fourth module. I think in all of this, what really came home to me was the fact that we were looking at structured reflection. And this came, in a sense, as a result of this experiential learning cycle. So basically what happens in the experiential learning cycle is that you have an experience. So you take that experience and then you go and you reflect on that experience. Based on your reflections, you then look at what it is you've actually assimilated with what you already brought to the course. And based on that assimilation, you then actually apply. And from that application, you can then generalize your knowledge.
Alvi Designs is a registered closed corporation with one member.